Oh, Happy New Year, everybody. This is the Teaser King. I am just exhausted, but about as happy as I can be with football. I made a few bets in Vegas, just a few. All these. I don't even know. I can't count. There's probably 50 bets here. And I'm playing teasers with everybody. Okay? Here's one of my finer ones. There you go. Here's a good one. The Jets with Michigan State right here. Boom, boom, boom. All over the place. All the way to this nice three-team teaser with Florida State, UCLA, and Michigan State. So, all these. So far, I have not had one losing bet. I played a 10-team teaser with all my locks. I have played 6 and 17 teasers off the cards. All I need is Florida State tomorrow, Monday, to win. I play a lot of locks, but of course they don't all win. But I had UCLA yesterday as my lock, Michigan State today, and there was something funny that I knew Michigan State was going to win. I'm in Vegas at the poker tables, and I'm telling people, I said, just bet the money line, just take the money line, Michigan State will win. I don't know why, I don't know how. I knew they were going to win. I knew their defense would hold up, and I knew teasing it with 12.5 points was just a lock. It was just unbelievable. So it's just one of those weeks. I was perfect on the pros last weekend. Hit. I mean, the plays were 7 for 7, but I didn't even play like the Giants, Cincinnati, and Tennessee. I mean, it was like a joke. I mean, it was games I could have played that I said I got enough. I couldn't get enough New England. I couldn't get enough Denver, Seattle. They all had to win. It was just beautiful. It was set up beautifully, and I pounded it. And the moral of the story, the reason I have all these bets, is that's how you bet teasers. I must have UCLA in 7-8 teasers, Michigan State in 7-8 teasers, New England 7-8 teasers, Philadelphia. The list goes on and on. Seattle. I mean, you don't play them one time. When you got a lock and you know this game's going to win, you pound it and pound it and pound it and pound it. And that's how you play teasers. You bet a lot, but when you have the game, you have that Michigan State, that UCLA, you have Tom Brady needing to win, Peyton Manning, Seattle not going to lose 2 at home. I mean, it was like the perfect storm. It was just beautiful. I really just tried to lay in with the lock. I just saw the locks and said, that's what I'm playing. And last lock is Florida State Monday night. Now, let's go into the rationale in this Florida State game. First of all, why do I think they're going to beat Auburn? Well, part of the reason is their defense. Their defense is very, very, very strong. Their offense is very well balanced. They got a great quarterback and great receivers and a great running back, good offensive line, and speed on the defense. Now, I was talking to my buddy. He played for the U of M team in the 80s. He's Jim Harbaugh's roommate. He's Jim Harbaugh's best friend now. And he says basically that Clemson and Auburn run the same offense. And if they do run the same offense, and Florida State beat Clemson 51-14 because they shut down their offense, sounds like they'll probably shut down Auburn's offense. Now, even if Auburn gets a few touchdowns, they're not going to be able to shut down the Florida State offense. And the double key to me is Auburn has no defense, and teams without defense do not win national titles. Florida State's going to run up and down the field on them, put up at least 50 points would be my estimation. And Florida State's been putting up 50 on everybody. And then secondly, it's just the defense. I mean, Auburn, okay, they got 28 on Alabama and scored on that, field goal that was short, but really they only got 28 on Alabama. The difference is Alabama doesn't have the offense to put up 50, but Florida State puts up 50 on everybody. And don't say they don't play good teams. They Miami, they put up 42. Okay, Miami at the time had Tank Johnson, and they were ranked number 7. Florida, 37-7, and I don't care what you say, they still got an SEC defense, and not a lot of teams putting up 37 on Florida. They put up 45 on Duke, and I know that's nothing, but when you look at the Duke game, they beat them 45-7 or something like that. But look at Duke yesterday, they put up 48. It was 52-48 to A&M. And that's the point. I mean, Duke's got a good offense. Florida State shut them down to 7. And they still put up 41 on Duke. So my point is, I'm really betting the defense. That's what I did with Michigan State. I bet the defense. I knew they weren't going to get blown out, and I just had that feel. Sometimes I get that feel. I've been talking to my friends about, the handicapping. And they were like, how do you do it? And I go, it's not just the numbers. I'm not technical. I like the technical for a point. In other words, let's look at, Seattle's a good home favorite. Technically, yes. But what I do well, which probably is better than anybody else handicapping, is I also know talent. And when I watch a game, and just let me see the team. And if I can see a couple of games with a couple of teams, I can tell right away they got a good quarterback, they got a bad quarterback, they got a good coach, they got a good defense, they got a good running. And that's really where I excel, and that's why I pick so many winners, is once I see the game, I know if the team can move, I know their defense, I know quite a bit, and that's why I'd be great at drafting players. It's because I can tell right away the skill set of the players. And that's why when you hear me say about Kellen Moore, why the Lions don't start him, because I saw him at Boise, and I saw him against Georgia and Virginia Tech and TCU and Nevada and Fresno State, and in big games, and the guy just they win. He wins. So that's my point. I can tell by watching that there's no problem that Kellen Moore wouldn't be an All-Pro in the NFL. And they get Stafford and they sign him to a big contract. They think they have to play him, but they don't win with the guy. He's a loser. He's a choke. He throws too many interceptions. He's not intelligent. He's not really a winner. Kellen Moore's a winner, and I know by watching. And that's my point. I know this kind of stuff in and out. I've watched football for probably 50 years now, and I know I've seen these games already happen. I've seen it 10 years ago. I've seen this Rose Bowl, or I've seen this Orange Bowl, or this playoff game, or this game to, New England needs to get into the play. This wasn't the first time I've seen this game, and I knew the result. So, I mean, a lot of that is just me watching, but it's my eye of talent. And I think that's what really is why I'm so successful doing this, is my eye of talent, that once I see the game. And that's why I'm better in the pros. Not that I'm not good in college, but there's games I don't see. I can't, you just don't see certain teams that much. I try to watch as much as I can, because once I see the team, then I'm fine. Like UCLA. I've seen UCLA. They played Virginia Tech. There's no question they were going to win. That's why I locked the game. And their quarterback is great. And Virginia Tech, I mean, if you looked at it, forget the Alabama game, but as bad as that was, they lost to Maryland, and they lost to Duke, and they lost one other bad game. So they lost 3 bad games. They barely beat Virginia, who's terrible. They beat them 16-6. So I said UCLA is going to score in the third. I thought it would be like 34-9. And I'm saying they can't stop UCLA from scoring, but how are they going to score? They don't have that type of offense. So it was the more I can watch the teams, the more I know, and I know the key players and all that stuff. I mean, this is why I don't like these teams are so bad at picking talent, and like I was watching Texas Tech play Arizona State, and I saw this running back, and Texas Tech looks like Darryl Sproles. This guy's unbelievable, and like draft the guy. I mean, draft him in the 3rd or 4th round if he's still available. Get him earlier. I mean, you can just see this guy's dynamite. He's Darren Sproles. He's 5'7". Who cares? Nobody. It was like playing touch football. They couldn't touch the guy. He'd catch a pass, cross the middle, put a move on, and like nobody could touch this guy. And then he did get hit a few times, and he got right back up. It wasn't like he's shot. So like that's how, just draft this guy. If I'm a GM, this guy's drafting. I need a running back. Even if I don't, everybody can use another Darryl Sproles type. Anyway, that's what I do, and I think that's what separates me. Anyway, had such a huge week. Like I said, it ends with Florida State. I'll pick the score 51-31, Florida State. Probably an over unless they just shut out Auburn, which could happen. Like I said, Missouri got 42 on them. And the only team that beat Auburn was LSU, and I watched them today, and LSU's average. But they had the speed to stop their running, and that's what Florida State has. They have speed on speed, and their defense is outstanding. And that's really most of the lock. The other locks, the quarterback and the running back and the balanced offense, the good coaching. And Auburn, I like Gus Malzahn. I bet on, we had Auburn over Alabama here, right? I mean, we're one of the few who took Auburn in the points. But is Auburn really the number 2 team? No, I think Michigan State's the number 2 team. I think Stanford's number 3. Alabama's probably in there too, but I don't see Auburn as the number 2 team. They had a weak schedule. They didn't play South Carolina, Georgia, Florida again. It just blows my mind how in the SEC they missed the 3 big teams, Alabama and Auburn. I mean, that's crazy. Auburn did beat LSU, and they beat Alabama, which was kind of a fluky, missing the field goal. If it goes to overtime, I don't know what happens. But I just see Florida State speed on defense just shutting down Auburn. And Auburn shows they have no defense. Florida State's going to light it up on them. So if Auburn can score 50 to keep it close, maybe, but I don't see it with Florida State's defense. Which is how I saw the Rose Bowl with Michigan State. I knew their defense was going to keep them. Michigan State should have won this game 31-10. They fumbled at the 3, and then they had the pick 6. I don't even know what play is being called. Some sort of screenplay. The quarterback's got to realize, don't throw the ball. I think his hand got hit too, but with 2 minutes left in the half, you just run the ball and just do those safe passing plays that they do, and just go from there. But sometimes you just got to understand the situation. There's 2 minutes. You've got a great defense. Don't throw a pick 6 like that. I mean, that was just terrible. But in his defense, he did march right back down and scored at the end of the half. So they were down 17-10, but he showed, or 17-14, and he showed great character getting off of that. But Michigan State's an underrated team. I think they're the only team that could beat Florida State. I think they have the defense to do it, but I still think I don't think anybody can beat Florida State. I mean, they're just so dominant. And you can see the scores. I mean, if you look at their scores, their box scores, the quarterback, and they got a great quarterback and then great running back, the defense. And they've been down before. Against Boston College, they were down, and there was maybe another game they were down, and they just fight right back, and they score quick. They're sort of like Baylor with a defense. So, anyway, I just wanted to talk a little bit theory and a little bit classical. Fundamental is the word. So basically, I do both, but when I fundamental, I'm looking at the team, and I watch the team, and I can analyze the team. And I think that's what separates me and why I can pick so many winners. And sometimes you get frustrated picking a loser, too. It's like, okay, well, why did I pick that? I think the worst pick I made all year was Michigan against Michigan State. And I still almost won it. Michigan drove down to the 10, and then they threw an interception, and they would have stayed close. But Michigan State just dominated them, and at that point I knew, and you saw how many times I played Michigan State after that. And that's really what I'm looking for, but it's because I watched them on TV, and I analyzed their offense and their defense, and I would think Michigan State, Cook's young, Langford's there, and their defense, yeah, a couple guys will graduate. But I'll tell you, you might think Clowney's the number 1 pick, but I'll tell you this, Darqueze Dennard, their cornerback at Michigan State, is like Darrelle Revis. I would, if I need a cornerback, that guy's the first player taken. And he'll just be a shutdown corner. I mean, that guy's great. I mean, that's what you look for. Um, the problem is like these teams will still draft stupid coaches. They'll draft assistant coaches instead of starting coaches. Probably the best two coaches out there is Wisenheit, who used to coach Arizona, took that to the Super Bowl, and the Wisconsin coach who was at Utah State. I like him a lot. Even this Dan Antonio from Michigan State, if I were, a team, I'd probably make a serious offer to him. Texas, I don't know what they're doing. Jumbo Fisher's staying at Florida State, and I don't know who's going to Texas, but I don't know who they're getting. But most of the big names are gone. Another one I like is Jim Moore at UCLA. And see, this is also why I'm locking. Part of the lock is the coach. It's the quarterback, it's the coach, and the defense. That's what formulates the lock. I can tell a good coach, I can tell a good defense, and I can tell a good quarterback. I mean, look at the end of this Rose Bowl. Stanford's running into the middle of the line on 4th and 3. I'm like, have they not watched Michigan State all year? Did they not know you cannot run on them on 4th and 3? I mean, it's insane to watch these guys run into this brick wall. And I'm like, why are they trying that? And I knew they wouldn't get it. I knew at the end of the game they weren't. It was 4th and 1. They run up the middle, and there's no way they were going to get that. So I don't understand why the coaches are so stupid to try to run into that and not recognize that's what Michigan State can do. That's the type of defense they are. Anyway, I just wanted to kind of just walk over all my games from last week, my locks. Tremendous week. I updated my picks because there was like New England and I loved them so much, and Philadelphia and Seattle, but I also loved UCLA, Michigan State, and Florida State. I played some locks like New England with UCLA and New England with Michigan State, so I put it on my last week's plays so you guys would be able to see the play, right? But otherwise, it would come in the next week. So that's why I did it. So now they're W's, so if you go back into the history, you'll see that my history changed because mine's set up that if I lose, I don't, it's a W button or nothing. So if I don't click a button, it's a loss, but it's really not a loss because it was, UCLA was yesterday, Michigan State was today. So basically what you have is, if you go back into the history, almost everything won. There's a few college games I lost today, but they weren't that big as the locks were. And just hammered the locks. It was just wonderful. And that's what you did. I also did a 7-team teaser and a 10-team teaser, and I basically did a lock teaser. I took all my locks. I think there was 5 or 6 in pros and the 3 in college, and basically just made a 7-team lock and a 10-team lock, like for $20, $30 at 20, 30 to 1, and it's all there. It's just we need Florida State. We get Florida State in, we hit all those. So, you just bullshit around with those. But I had so many good plays that to me I played them all anyway. I played a 3-teamer with UCLA, Michigan State, Florida State also. So I don't normally play 3-teamers. I'll usually play 2-teamer. I'll play that card to pick 10. I always have 10 I can pick, and I'll put, $20, $30 at 30 to 40 to 1 odds and try to, really cash in big without that much risk because I know it's hard to hit. I think the only game I lost on one of the cards was BYU in 9. I thought they'd play better. They got kind of a kickoff return and a punt return against them. And even like the smaller games today with Nebraska and Iowa hitting was good. I mean, once they started hitting, I felt really good with Michigan State. Anyway, I'm still analyzing the pros. I'll probably take a lot of dogs in the pros. I mean, I got to do some more research on that. I've been focused on this, but the pros I'll probably post on Friday. I'll probably run a YouTube on it. The playoffs are a little different. It's a little bit more. You got to bet the quarterback, and you got to bet the defense. With Aaron Rodgers back, that changes a lot with Frisco, Green Bay. The Chiefs, I love the Chiefs. They sit out the whole team. But Chase Daniel quartered, and I know I've been banging his bell a lot, saying this guy should be playing, and he looked pretty damn good. And I guarantee you, Kellen Moore should have played, and I guarantee you, Detroit would have beat Minnesota. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about that and how you bet and how you do everything. So, I mean, that's the key. Is I put them in a lot of teasers, these locks. I loved them. And like I say, I love Florida State on Monday from their defensive standpoint. And, I just, and anything can happen. They could lose, and I'll be very surprised. I'm only laying a 1.5, so I'll be very surprised if Florida State loses the game. If they don't score 50 points, I'll be, shocked. So anyway, the quarterback out of Florida State's got off on the charges. Guilty or innocent, I don't know. I don't really, what am I going to do? But as long as he's playing and this is all behind him, I look for a big game there. But I don't know. It's just I'm just euphoric with all the wins I had. It's just nice to get hot. So when I get hot like that, I get really psychic sometimes. I know a lot of people don't believe in it, but I knew Michigan State was going to win. I knew UCLA knew it. It was like I just knew they were going to win. And I was walking in one of the casinos, and UCLA's a 7, and all of a sudden they went to 7.5. And at that moment, I just looked at the board and said, "That's it. They're gonna blow them out." I just something about it. I just knew that UCLA was gold. So sometimes I just get the feel, but just one of those things. I love playing the Jets as a lock Sunday over. Miami needed the game, but the matchup. See, there's where the technical came in. The underdog is 21-2 in that series, and they didn't let us down. So it's not always, like I said, it was a warning. Like, don't always play the team who needs the game. You got to fit the role. And like Carolina, I stayed away from. And I almost took Atlanta because I knew Atlanta played San Francisco pretty well. But basically, that's just football. I mean, that's how I play it. I get the vibes. I look at the technical, but it's not just all technical. And that's why once I see the game, see the team a few times, I get a real good feed on the teams and how they play in the matchups. And like I said, I'll be surprised if Auburn does too much on Florida State. And if Florida State, I don't think Auburn can stop them from 50 points. I really don't. I just don't see how. I mean, they can't magically get the defense, and they can't really defend. So I know it's all matchups, but good luck stopping Florida State because nobody's been able to. And Duke and Miami and Florida. I mean, that's Duke's an 11 or 10 win team, and Miami's got, I don't care how their record, they still got players. And same with Florida, they still got players. So I know their quarterback was hurt, but I just don't see that happening. They're Auburn finding a defense all of a sudden. All right, I've been rumbling on, but I just wanted to talk to you about the locks and the playoffs and the bowls and everything like that. All right, well, have a great weekend. Happy New Year to everybody. Appreciate all your comments and emails and calls and whatever else. And I look forward to giving you the winners for this weekend's playoffs games and the Florida State game. So I'll give you a pick to play with Florida State. Well, it was UCLA and Michigan State and New England, but basically I'll give you a pick on the Friday video, the pro team to play with them. But just go money manage, and when you find that lock, just bang them. I mean, the lock will lose. It's not guaranteed 100%, but when it hits, you make a lot of money. So anyway, have a great day. Again, go to the site www.teacherking.com. Leave comments. All right, I'll talk to you. Happy New Year.